my super dope, mega epic web show. I have a few very special guests today. And first of the three is the son of David. He kind of ran stuff in Israel for a while. The one and only King Solomon. Let's give it up.
Kiss me, bro. Kiss me.
Mr. King Solomon, welcome to my show. Just please start by telling us where you're from.
I'm happy to be here. I'm from ancient Israel. And around 970 to 930 BCE, you know, straight repping.
Very interesting. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what made you such a great leader in ancient Israel?
It would be a pleasure. Well, I was one of ancient Israel's greatest leaders. I built a fantastic architectural structures and did the normal role pretty well also.
You say you built great architectural structures. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, my most famous build was the Temple of Jerusalem. I built it in the capital that my father took over, Jerusalem. And I put in the Ark of Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant, you know what I'm talking about?
What is the Ark of the Covenant? That sounds very interesting.
The Ark of the Covenant is this big gold box, you know.
Yeah?
Yeah, it holds important Jewish artifacts. Just, yeah, those matter.
Sounds awfully fancy. Where is it now?
We don't have to.
That sounds like a problem.
Yeah, it's a problem. Yeah.
Would you consider yourself a better ruler than your father?
Well, even though I had victories as well as my architectural visions, my father, King David, not only defeated Goliath, but he did much more kingly things, like take over many cities, including Jerusalem, which as I said, became the capital.
You are a very humble king, Solomon.
I know.
Thank you for being on my super cool mega dope web show.
Dude, no problem. Fist me, bro. Fist me. I'll catch you boys later. This cane's fake.
It's fake.
Next, from the Middle East. He follows the rules, but he's the one who made them up. The Hammurabi, ruler of Mesopotamia. A-Town, peace up. Apparently we have food now. Mr. Hammurabi, I'm glad you can make it.
I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
So why don't we start by you telling us why you were important to Mesopotamia during 1792 to 1740 BC.
Well, I was one of the greatest rulers in ancient Mesopotamia, and I created the law codes during my rule.
What is so special about the law code you invented while you were ruler of Mesopotamia?
My law code consisted of 282 laws, well thought out, all had appropriate consequences, at least.
What are some examples of laws in your code?
If anyone ensnare another, putting a band upon him, but he cannot prove it, then he that ensnared him shall be put to death. And if anyone steal the property of a temple or of the court, he shall be put to death. And also, the one who receives the stolen things from him shall be put to death. And finally, my favorite. If a slave says to his master, "You are not my master,"
SK!
if they can make... SK, what are you doing?
Yo, it's cool with me. That was a person who works on my super dope web show. Where were we?
You're my part, man. And as I was saying, finally, my favorite. If a slave says to his master, "You are not my master," if they convict him, his master shall cut his ear off. So yeah, I liked violence.
Do you feel any of the laws were too harsh?
Of course not. They may have slightly given the rich a less harsh punishment, but they're my rules, so I should decide what they say.
Alright, other than the law code, what else did you do during your rule in Mesopotamia?
Well, I united Mesopotamia, as well as turning Babylon into an important power.
Wow. Thank you again for coming on my super cool, dope, epic web show.
Put him in the blender.
Yeah. And the last of our three guests, he was treated like a god in Egypt. And it was different because he worshipped a different god. Amenhotep IV, come on in and take a seat, please. Hello, Amenhotep. How are you? And who are you?
I'm good, thank you for asking. And I am one of the many pharaohs of ancient Egypt. My rule was from 1364 to 1347.
Wow. Tell us what made you a significant pharaoh.
Well, my idea of changing Egypt's religion turned some heads.
But you didn't succeed.
Well, it did, but once my rule ended, they changed back.
Why did you have to be so difficult? Why couldn't you just go with the flow?
Because I'm a pharaoh, and if I worshipped Aten, everybody worships Aten.
Where would you rank yourself among many of the other pharaohs?
That's not a fair assessment. There will always be bias, but I say middle to the top. A lot of pharaohs didn't do too many important things. They just ruled. I tried to change things. I'm different.
There you have it, folks. A subpar pharaoh ranks himself as one. Bless you.
Cameraman had to sneeze.
These crowds in my super dope web show are getting out of control. Gonna have to crack the whip. Well, anyways, thank you for being on my awesome super dope web show. We've had fun. This has been a very special show because all of these people were very extraordinary to learn about. I mean, how could we have known that Hammurabi had made his own law code and forced it upon people to follow? Or that King Solomon liked to build mass religious structures that held artifacts of his religion? Or even that Amenhotep IV wanted his country to forget the way they ruled, to forget their old beliefs, and agree with his own. I have one final question. Who is the greatest leader out of the three of you?
Me.
I was obviously the best.
It was me.
It was obviously me. You can't
I
have
was
it.
obviously the
I had
No
the
doubt.
biggest artifacts.
I made the first ever law code. People
Mine
obey me.
was the
People
nothing.
obey me.
Mine was the biggest.
You guys are too much. Until next time, I am
Alright, let's reshoot this.
Michael Hurst, and this is my super dupe awesome cool web show.
Super dude.
Thank you.